Good morning, welcome to Made by Grungy. It's Anna here, and today I am here with a flip through of Fleur, as I, for some reason, started to call this journal. She's a big lady. She is 6.5 inches by 9.75 inches, and she has a spine that is 2 inches. This was a much smaller book. I bought a cover from Souvenir de la France on Etsy, and it was like this thin. So I cut the spine off and made myself a new one. I covered it with this lovely fabric. I have added a label here. I have sewn on a little label down here that I stamped on fabric. The closure is just a ribbon, chiffon ribbon that I just loosely knotted or tied. On the front cover I did a bit of collaging using a tea-dye doily. I have some more stamped. This is some pool stamp. On fabric I have a Tim Holtz lady, fake postcard, and a stamp up there. I have stamped on a Tim Holtz lady. On the back I have another little collage, small stickers and a label. And I love doing collages like that. She is a chunky lady. I just love the profile. I have had so much fun in this grungy journal. She has 13 signatures that is sewn in with a 5-hole pamphlet stitch, and there's a hidden hollowback spine. About 320 pages in this journal, so it would almost last you a year if you did 1 page a day. It's made, the book I think was published about 1931. I didn't have the text block, I just had a few pages, but I used what I got. And the end papers are made from Tim Holtz backdrops, which turned out to be the perfect size. I have made on camera these pockets. This is an envelope that flips out. Inside it is just a library card, and on this side of the envelope I put this vintage postcard, and I just added it with these corners, and it's from 1916, memory of Anna. So that can slide out. You can put something else there, or you can journal on the back of it and have some hidden journaling if you like. Let's see if I can get that back in. Yes, I could. So I thought that was fun. And here is one of the 49 Market windows, and I added a bit of acetate and I glued it down as a pocket. In that pocket we have, this is it's not a real cabinet card, but I have a scan of this. I have the original cabinet card myself, and backed it on some cardstock. This is one of the Tim Holtz cards. So that goes in there. He peeks out of the window. So I thought that was a bit fun. This is the original first page of the book. And I left it as it is because I thought the aging of the page and everything is just beautiful. I just repaired a small rip there with my own vintage cellophane tape that I make. So there is lots and lots of writing space in this journal, as you will notice, even though I have done a lot of decorating. I've had so much fun in this journal. We have this paper. It is dyed with tea and rust. We have a page from a reproduction of an old catalog with stamps. We have ledger paper that has been extended with wrapping paper from Pepin Press. And that has been sewn. There's lots of sewing here. We have a page from a floral book. And here we have a flip out, so you can journal on the back. This is an envelope, window envelope, obviously, that I covered in different book pages and added a few labels on this fussy cut lady. And inside we have another lovely lady in this big chunk, big of a tag. Some tatting down here. We have stamped fabric once again. We have lace as a topper. I have sewn all around it, and you can journal on the back of this. So that will go in there, I hope. It will go back. So I have to sit down while doing this because I still have a bit of my tonsillitis. I'm not feeling so good. We have some vintage ephemera, genuine, in here that has a address on the back. More of the beautiful botanical images. On this page of the ledger that flips out, I have sewn on a little pad of paper that you can journal on, and we have some lace on the top of that. We have the back of the catalog reprint and more of the rusted dyed paper. Love the grunginess of that. Here I have just taped in a big first day cover that's about the National Museum 200 years in Sweden, and instead of putting something inside of the envelope, I have added this big journaling card with a clip, and this is tea-dyed. Here we have more pages from the original book, and we are going into the second signature out of 13. So I hope you grab a drink and relax. Just getting a sip of water. We have more rust-dyed papers. This is French book page. Came in a package from Souvenir de la France. I'm trying to use my French papers now. This is just green grid paper, and down here I have stamped FYI för kännedom. That's a vintage stamp I found thrifting. It looks like this, one of the old office stamps. I think it's really cool. We have a dictionary page that I just folded in the center, folded up because it was a bit tall, and I made it into a pocket. And inside it we have a Tim Holtz. It's not a transparency somehow. And then we have a little ad libris, ex libris, that you can add to it if you like. We have a French letter, and in the center we have a lovely image of Princess Margaret that is taking pictures. And that is the Swedish Princess Margaret, that is from 1911. Here we have the rest of the letter, and on this side I added a sticker. I stamped a bit, and I did a bit of my head is not with me today. Watercolor swatching. That's it. One more pocket of the fold-ups. We have a little photo from Södertälje, a souvenir photo, and a piece of Stamperia ephemera. Here I have extended the grid paper with some straw paper, sewn that, and you can fold that down and journal. Here I just sewn on a stamped sample stamp. I stamped on fabric and I sewed it on. I love doing that. I'm all about stamping on fabric right now. Trying mixed media in every different way. Having so much fun. More of the rust-dyed paper, and this beautiful French book page with purple printing. I am so in love with this, but I decided to add it here. More rust-dyed paper. This one is lined. We have some genuine vintage ephemera, a letter from 1947, and here I have added a pocket that I did out of Tim Holtz wallpaper, and added a few things. I did it after a tutorial from Mima Makes. We have a vintage index card. We have a vintage letter postcard that hasn't been sent. It was sent in a letter, so it doesn't have any stamp. It's from 1947, and if you flip the page, you have a flip out. You can journal on the back here, and we have a small pocket. And this is a stamped journaling card. We have a vintage envelope that has been opened up. It's from 1969, and you can journal inside it. A vintage Swedish English dictionary from 1938, and in the center we have a piece of stationery from when the Swedish Post was celebrating 350 years in 1986. That's what a stamp cost then, 1 krona 90 öre. Today it's like 13. So it has really gone up in price. Here's the back of the envelope, and we have some lined paper here. That is a flip, and I have extended it with some ledger. Lots of journaling space. We have the back of the leather, ephemera leather, and more of the rust dyed. On this side of the lovely purple printed paper, I have added a postcard that you can journal on the back, or an art print or something. We have more of the rust dyed. Here we have French book page. It's a book with place in it, and I made a little tab down here. I folded some fabric, and I have sewn it on, hand sewn, which I don't normally do, and I also sewn on a little button down there, so that's a special thing. Here I have a piece of music manuscript paper, getting chunky. We have a first page of a book, and I have added one of my pockets down here with an image that I have sewn onto stiffer paper and made it a pocket. And inside we have a letter. It's from 1967, and it's sent from San Francisco, California to Sweden, and you can open up and read it if you like. We have a receipt that's vintage and genuine. We have a book page from a book about wildflowers from 1920, and it even has the color plate in. Really beautiful. Here we have another French page. I have hinged many pages together, and I have used either washi tape and glue, or paper, or masking tape. I thought this image was absolutely beautiful. We have a page out of a stamp album, and it says Frankrike, which means France, so I added a French stamp there. Here is the back of the theater play in French, so I added a flip out or tip in, and you can journal on the back of that beautiful image. We have more rust dyed paper. We have music paper. I love these rusted paper clips I think I have thrown on. We have some bubbles there as well. This is from a French agenda from 1947. We have handmade paper from Japan, I believe. Really white with silk threads in it. And I have extended that with craft paper, so you have lots of journaling space. And here I did a bit of stenciling with some lace stencil, and you can journal on the back of that as well. Here we have a self-educator from 1920 that I just folded, the commercial self-educator even. This is a pocket that flips out with a journaling card inside. This butterfly, and this is made out of a glue paper. I think I made it in one of my use it or lose it's. And that goes in there. This is a marriage certificate. It is from 1967. It was a bit crinkled up, but I really wanted to add it anyway because I love the paper. I have mended it up here with my tape. Rest of the commercial self-educator, and here is the back of the Japanese paper. Look at that, isn't it beautiful? Absolutely gorgeous. And French agenda and more rust dyed. I have kept this quite grungy but still feminine. The back of the music paper and more rust dyed. Here's a French book page. This is rag paper. And the reason I don't say the year of the French book pages is that I got them in paper packs and I have no idea how old they are. But we have an invoice out of a caramel factory from 1922. We have a small vintage ephemera there. More of the craft paper, and I added a fussy cut down here. Here I have taken the offcut of a bird book, and I have picked up the colors of the egg and made some watercolor swatches. I did a bit of stamping, and on this side I did the same thing. I love how that turned out. We have a vintage, this is from 1905, and it was a school book in geography. I have mended it a bit. On this side of the tag, I have cut this into a tag shape, the bird book. I did a bit of collaging, and I added this little string here, and we have, you can journal on here. We have more of the craft paper, and I have sewn on some lace. I love the contrast between the craft paper and the lace. And inside that pocket we have La Porte de Tournai from Lille. And it doesn't say a date, but it's a genuine postcard. Back of the invoice and more French rag paper, almost in the center. And more rust dyed paper. We have even more beautiful French paper, and here I did a bit of a fussy cut with a lupin and a little label. More writing space. Mon ami et moi. It's also a French book page. And on this side, oh, I love this. This is a belly band. I did a bit of collaging on the belly band. This is a Tim Holtz acetate thing. We have stamped fabric. We have an old receipt. We have ration card. We have a bit of a spine from a book. We have a genuine stamp, Tim Holtz ephemera. Yeah, lots of different things, and I think that turned out so cool. And inside the belly band we have this is the grades, school grades, 1947, and that's about it. This is in Finnish, and I cannot read Finnish, but yeah, if you know Finnish, you can see the grades of this person. I got that in a box of papers, and I thought it was cool to add here. We have some architect paper, lovely quality. We have this is from 1911. It's from a book about British birds. This is the advertisement part. I absolutely love that. In the center we have another image of Princess Margaret. This is before she became Princess Margaret to Sweden. She is rowing on the deck of a boat somewhere, I believe 1905. And I did a little collaging down here. Love her hat, huge. We have more of the bird book, more of the architect paper, and this is flip out, so you can journal lots of that. We have another piece of French book page. This woman is making laces. In Swedish, this is called knyppla. I don't know what is knotted lace, maybe in English. I think it's gorgeous. We have more rust dyed, and here I have sewn on a little waterfall of different papers that you can journal on in a raggedy way. And the idea to this comes from Bohemian Crafting. Eva, her son Jacob did this in a video, and I have picked it up and used it ever since. We have some vintage wallpaper from the Swedish tapestry fabric and factory in Arvika. I love this pattern, and I love the edging on that, so I didn't cut it off. And tipped in here is another book page in French. La Reine Blanche. The White Queen, maybe? Beautiful. That's vintage. I have rust-dyed paper. We have a French and Latin prayer book, I believe, and it's red paper. Beautiful. We have some packing paper with a little collage down here. This is from a book about British wildflowers. In the center we have some vintage ephemera from 1931, and it has a little tab up here with Edith Holden page. Back of the wrapping paper and the prayer book. We have tea-dyed paper, and here is the back of the wallpaper. And here's the pocket. Made it of an envelope. I added this. It says Soldat Collier Henri, and this is gone to a soldier somewhere, and I added him there. And if you take that paper clip off, you can open the envelope and do some hidden journaling inside. So I think that was quite fun. And inside it I popped a letter from 1952 that I got in my stash. And this is the whole letter, so if you know Esperanto, you can read that as well. So you have to know Esperanto, Swedish, French, and Finnish to read this book. I love using different kind of languages. This is a tip-in on top of a music page, and it is the index of an index card book, not book, but box. I've done a bit of stamping. I've added one of my stamped fabric thingies, and I have another postcard just tucked in there with photo corners. And you can journal on the back. And F for Fleur, of course. We have more tea-dyed paper. This is from a Swedish religious book from 1893. We have some lined paper from the school book. We have a little offcut here, some notebook, and in the center we have a invoice, and I don't see a date on it, but it's a bit newer. And here we have another pocket, and that has been, this is just scrapbooking paper that I sewn on, and I added one of my stamped labels. I can see that I have stamped lots of fabric on this book, some kind of a theme. I've added a bit of stamp here, and inside it I added this journaling card that I made with collage papers, and a little bit of collage on top of it, and on the back of it we have pattern, sewing pattern. You can journal on there. Here I have done a bit of stamping. You can see that I have sewn on something, and that is just a piece of lined paper. We have more French rag paper, and this is a book about agriculture. This is a tiny flip on this ledger, and I added this first page from a book, La Dame de 11 heures, and you can journal on the back. If you know French, you're probably laughing at my at my pronunciation. I haven't studied it in many years. This is a book about orchids from 1948. We have a handmade paper with lots of flower petals and grass in it. And this is a flip out, and this is made out of coffee dyed baking paper, and I sewn around it and made it into an envelope, and that flips out. And inside it we have a little journaling card that I made in one of my Use It to Lose It's on the Italian index cards. Here we have and I added some rub-on here. That's what it is. We have a tab here which shows that in the center we have a lovely image, and I just love the colors of this spread. We have the original spine of the book, and I added a little lady down here. She's kind of coming out from behind the spine. Gorgeous. More of the orchid book. Here we have a flip out with a lovely flower, and you can journal on the back of that. More French paper, more tea dye. Here is one of the pages from the original textbook. I added a bit of a doily up here, and I added this Tim Holtz collage tile. We have more tea dye paper, and here we have a book page. Excuse me, losing my voice. Gotta drink a bit. Here we have a book page from 1922, and it's a recipe book. And I added a pocket here that I have sewn on a stamped fabric piece and a piece of ephemera, and I added a brad to that, and that can move. And I added washi tape behind it so it doesn't rip the tag. The tag I made on Use It to Lose It from my collage papers. I've added a scanned cabinet card, label, and a French laundry label. That's not a label, it's a stamp, of course. We have a ledger, and it's a flip, and that's just a Tim Holtz card. Here we have a invoice it's a measurement list from 1955, and it's in kind of onion skin. In the center we have a lovely etching of a big house in Fyn, Denmark. Beautiful, and you can see the 1800s dress there. Here's the back of the measurement list, and I did a bit of collage paper on it and a stamp, or 2 stamps. I love how that turned out. Another flip. More of the recipe book. And another coffee dye paper. And here I have just this idea I have copy crafted from Tracy at Tracy Tries Journaling. Hi Tracy, if you're watching. This is just let me show you. Stamps that I have folded and made into a tuck spot, and I have tucked in some ration cards, and on this side I tucked in this vintage photo, genuine one, and I just paper clipped it on so you can move it if you like. And of course we have some Edith Holden with the water lilies, and to that I have just sewn on this is like a dust jacket from a book about flowers. I have added some, no I have not, you can journal on the back of that, and I have added a bit of Tim Holtz flower there. More tea dye paper and more French book page. This is rag paper. No, it's German book page. So sorry. We have a school book, line 1. We have a Swedish book from 1806. This is also rag paper. As you can see, it's totally random. I've had so much fun in this journal. We have another invoice from 1922. Love the color of that. And here we have a fun pocket I made on camera. This is just a piece of torn scrapbook paper, and inside it is this journaling card, and this lady is just glued on down here. So this is one of the Italian index cards, and I love that. Really pretty. And I made a tab out of the same paper, so you can watch the beautiful swallows in here. No, it's not swallows, flycatchers. Pied flycatcher. And a bit of mending with my tape down here. I've done that throughout the book. I think it adds a bit of grunge. More rag paper and the lined paper and the journal rag paper. And here we have some really dark coffee dye paper. This is some kind of scrapbook paper that I tea dyed. We have an F for Fleur up here. This is a Latin French choral book. It's one of those religious not songbook either. I believe it's called something. Hymn book? No, I don't know. But it's you're supposed to sing, as you can see, in Latin. More tea dye paper that has been dipped after it dried. On this piece of ledger, I have pasted this beautiful bird. In Swedish, that is called lavskrika. And once again, I have folded up the ledger to make pockets. Added this beautiful collaged journaling card. I get these pictures from a book about fashion history that I own. Another invoice, and this is a really cool one, as you can see. Hats and Fur Factory in Falun, 1921. Beautiful, beautiful heading there. And we have another lovely image in the center. That is a painting from 1600 sometime. I love using old art in my books. Here we have another one of the flip ups, fold ups, and I added labels around the edge of those. We have another piece of Södertälje, and this is a church. I love the old cars there. And this is the tourism photos. And we have some tea dyed. Don't be a rough rider in your own vehicle. Kelly Springfield tires. Rubber tires. It's a tea dyed. Got it in handmade. And this side it flips out and down, and you can journal all over that. More of the tea dyed, more of the religious songbook. And we have reached the back of the book with the scrapbooking paper. And here's another of the Tim Holtz backdrops that I used. That was all of the 320 pages of Fleur. I hope you enjoyed this. I really loved making her, I can say. I've had so much fun. I'm just gonna knot this. See if I can make it somehow. Nope, I couldn't make it pretty, but almost. If you did enjoy this, give it a thumbs up. Let me know down below what you think of this lovely journal. In my eyes, she's lovely. I just adore this. She will be available in my Etsy shop later on today if you are interested. So go take a look. And until next time, I wish you all a great weekend. Bye for now.